Alright, hello everyone and welcome back to the semifinals of the Oceania Long Note Tournament 4th edition. We are back in for the final match of the semifinals weekend. Going to be having that remaining conditional match that we were meant to have a little earlier, but it's been delayed to the end of Monday, so it's all good. At least it's happening now. It's going to be none other than Team Momentum, aka Spanner Dude, going up against the likes of Flowerful for this conditionals. So both these players have made a long way throughout this whole tournament, and they are ready to see who's going to be making it into that potential top 6 position in the finals bracket against Muchi. But before we get into that, as usual, I'm your host, Epic Man2, and joining alongside is going to be none other than Adam Ackerville. What's rocking?
Hello, everybody. Yes, welcome back to the last match of semifinals. Very long awaited, if I do say so myself. Both Team Momentum versus Flowerful, a really anticipated match for quite a while now. And not to mention, this is the last match of semifinals before we enter into the final stage. And not to mention, these two are, I kid you not, in losers bracket. So either one of these players will be walking home right here or advance to the next round, facing against Miyuchi, also known as Miyuka, in losers final. Anyways, I'm doing good today, Epic Man.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. But yeah, both these players, very reputable profiles within their own respective countries, and we definitely know that Team Momentum had gone into a tiebreaker earlier in their initial semifinals match against Plon earlier. This resulted in them being able to make it here. Flowerful making it here by virtue of a forfeit, unfortunately. And actually, no, wait, not unfortunately. What was I saying? But
yes, last match, Team Momentum versus Plana was, if I'm not wrong, 2 days ago, and emerged victory in the tiebreaker. For those who are not familiar with Plana, also known as Anocius from Philippines, he is, if I'm not wrong, one of the best long note players in terms of physicality and just general tournament performance itself. Now, the fact that Ting is able to beat Plana in the first place in the tiebreaker already shows you that this player is a monster to be feared on, since, if I'm not wrong, due to the unban that he has on Osu now, he has been a mainstay in the MENA World Cup scene. Same with Flowerful, also from France, I kid you not, the best long note player and physical player for tournament as well in their respectful country.
yeah, exactly. Both these players are essentially at the top of the leagues in their own countries when it comes to how well they can play LN, and especially here, we can see that from the bans alone, this already kind of sets the precedent for the match alone that seems like we got Tech Free and also Destiny 4 banned out. So definitely interesting picks, if I have to say so myself, because I definitely do feel like the thing is here with Flowerful, they already basically have the information that they would have needed off Ting to be able to at least try and figure out some extra strategies against them here in this match, in which there isn't really much information you can get about Flowerful in the semifinals alone. So you really just need to like try and like do some more hardcore math in that part. But yeah, Ting Momentum has been in the same exact position before in the semis conditionals back in LM3, where they had faced against Grill Roasted and they took them the tiebreaker, but they ended up losing just at the end of the map through a miss. So if this does go into turning out to be the second tiebreaker in a row for him, this is definitely gonna be a bit of a scary match for them, let's say.
Yeah, not to mention, like you said, he was in Oceania Long Nut Tree and facing to tiebreaker multiple times. He also did find a early drop right there, right after the 400 combo mark, giving him a slight lead to flowerful right now by about a 0.3%. Seems like a pretty hefty drop from him at the beginning. He has to catch back up while we are entering the second half on the first Ki section, where it really matters that he gets his accuracy back up, while flowerful needs to find a multiple 200 drop or even a miss to tied up the score lead as of now, which is 7.5k approximate.
Yeah, exactly. It does make sense that flowerful does have a bit of an advantage going into this map as the initial pick, because from what I do know, flowerful is incredibly strong when it comes to a lot of these density maps, as we have seen through 4 of the previous rounds that they had, all the other relics of the past that they would have left over in the past few weeks or so. So definitely would make sense as to why Ting would want to try and avoid these types of picks in the first place, because going off that one miss alone, this map is arguably one of the most physical density maps that we have on the board, just going off the fact that it's a lot more hand stream oriented and it incorporates some dumps as well. So going into the end of the map, that is going to be the first point for the side of flowerful to kickstart the match off, as we can see here.
V1 double S as well. What?
Yep. You said it.
Okay. Sure, first map of the matchup, and he just V1 double S with a better ratio compared to Ting, who had an unfortunate big drop at the beginning. Therefore, it's not enough to catch back up. Thank you for the amazing Pataraj.
Always gotta get those Zuma Musume references in the stream.
Yep, we have to joke around here and there. We cannot always be too serious, you know, but to be fair, this is gonna be, in my opinion, a pretty close matchup if both players play their card correctly. So next, we will be seeing Ting Momentum choosing Wildcard 2 straight off the bat.
Yeah, definitely a bit of a solid pick to go into after this, because Has Arrived is a lot more straightforward as a map in principle, so definitely makes sense as to why Ting would pick it out, especially since they have played it in their previous match as well, going to make it, having gone about 985k on this one. So I feel like here the general strategy for Ting here might have to be going into some of these more technical maps, so to say, to try and eke out some potential chokes from the side of flowerful, because we know that their consistency is insanely good when it comes to some of these density maps. So especially when it comes to trying to deviate from some of those more straightforward maps in general, this is a really good path to go down, really.
Yeah, but we just really have to see once this map starts if this is actually the correct play from Ting, because not to scoff about, this is one of the best player in their region, which is France, flowerful here. But is it strong enough to go against the global likes of skill ceiling? We'll see as we are gonna enter the map starting now.
Exactly, very well said there, and especially with this map being close to being more on a technical side, it's basically, as a wild card in principle, this map itself is basically the bare closest that you can get to a timing hell map in the non-coordination section, in the non-coordination categories, where you do have a bunch of these like dump bursts incorporated, but it's also really shield heavy. So this is exactly the type of thing that I was expecting Ting to try and capitalize off of, and we can definitely see it here with flowerful taking the first drop.
Yeah, first drop right after the 400 combo mark, and a pretty big drop as well. Went from 99.80% all the way to just barely holding a 99, slowly climbing back up the accuracy to 99.20 and beyond now. But that was a very big drop, giving Ting the lead of 8,000 and slowly climbing back up. Still holding on to the good accuracy of 99.78%. Flowerful finding another drop from as we enter the second half. Pretty clean that time around, but still, a second drop is a second drop compared to Ting, who's still holding that onto that full combo.
Yeah, definitely substantial enough to be able to ensure that Ting has that safety cushion going into this map. This is a very strong pick from their side, so especially with how this basically exploits the weakness of flowerful, which is at least some of these more uncomfortable patterns, which are a little more physical, so to say, or at least in the sense that this is a lot more technical than we have seen in Enroll, basically reciprocating that of what Ting got at the very start of that map, but basically doubling it and give it to the next person.
Yeah, and not to mention, this wildcard pick is also pretty bursty in terms of the shorter long nose that we saw earlier on the first section. As soon as about 600 combo came in, that's where flowerful tripped up, if I'm not wrong, due to the change from holding onto longer long nose to bursty shorter long nose that is being played here, thus being a wildcard pick. Ting still holding onto that FC as we enter the final 1/8 of the map left, so holding onto the very comfortable accuracy of 99.73.
Yeah, and a very good score from Ting to be able to respond with, because this is on their first pick as well, so it's going to be really important for Ting to be able to try and even things out a bit, and even then probably try to break this tie, which is probably going to be a common theme for this match alone, knowing how well balanced both these players are. So I feel like for flowerful here, I wouldn't be surprised if they were to go for another density map, but at the same time, it is relatively limited, just going off the fact that with density 4 banned, you only have the luxury of 2 other density maps to pick out. So I'd say you should probably opt in for something like maybe one of the other wildcards as well, but definitely not wildcard free. That's like way too similar to this map, in my opinion.
Yeah, maybe in my opinion, wildcard 1 is... Wait, is wildcard 1 banned? Let me see. Yes, it's not. Okay, so in my opinion, he could go with, like you said, another density pick or wildcard 1, in my opinion, as even though there's release element in it, there's still a sort of feel like you're playing density, and he's going to actually go with their protect density 2 right off the bat into the third map of the matchup.
Yeah. Definitely a bit of an expected pick. This map is very solid when it comes to at least having some physical patterns, but also incorporating some technicality within it as well. So Dream and Attraction is definitely a bit of a strong pick, I'd say, for Flowerful's favor. But at the same time, with this one being a lot more, this one is arguably a little more technical in comparison to Density 1, which capitalizes a lot more on physicality in the contrary. So I definitely feel like this map, as much as it may be advantageous for Flowerful, there's also still the opportunity that they might choke on some of these patterns, especially on the more dub-core oriented sections of the map itself.
Yeah, I mean, as we enter the later stage of the tournament, we can't really tell which side favors which anymore, like we see from this match itself and previously, which is Mewtwo versus Parvin. That was all over the place, 4-0 to Parvin, by the way, but Mewtwo brought it back to 4-4. So literally, anything can happen into the later stage of the tournament now. So we don't know what pick is a guaranteed pick for them anymore. We just have to see what they can do with their appropriate picks and get their points if possible.
It's literally just gambling as if you're playing Balatra or something. Like, you can't even, like, be able to discern which pick would be the most beneficial unless it's, like, just that obvious, like, right in your face, basically. So, this is definitely the type of things that we gotta expect with these types of matches nowadays, really.
Yeah, it's like Umamusu may fail training, you know, you may fail the training and you may not, but as we enter the map, flowerful did find a little bit of accuracy drop down to 99.74%. Maybe a few 200 at the beginning, I'm not too sure. Spanner Dude, also known as Ting, is still holding on to the comfortable 99.83%, about 0.1% off, but it's only the beginning. We haven't entered the second half yet. There's still a lot more density section for both players to play.
Yeah, that minor drop from Flowerful is definitely what I was trying to hint at, basically. Like, the fact that the map is a little more technical out of all the other density maps. I did feel like that certain sections like that one earlier in just before the course, obviously, that I felt that it probably would have been something that could, like, hurt at the accuracy down Flowerful a bit, just going off the fact that yes, it is still density, but at the same time, it's a lot more control-oriented. Like, it's not really as constant as you would usually expect your density maps to be. But even then, it's not like it really did much. It's really just about 1,000 points on the side of Ting, so anything can still happen if there is to be a miss from Ting. It's just that it's gonna have to happen like relatively soon.
Yeah, and not to mention, flowerful is actually getting back up in terms of accuracy, almost catching up to Ting now. Ting dropping a little bit more accuracy, but not too much to put an actual big dent into it just yet. Flowerful finding the first miss as we enter the final corner of the map, the final Ki section coming in. Ting still holding on to that FC with 99.77%. There's basically no map left. Sooner or later, it's gonna be the end. And I don't think it's enough for flowerful to get back from this. There's nothing left. It's just a couple of choruses without any hard section. And that will be the first break point of the matchup to Ting.
Oh, that would have been a very good point for flowerful as well. Oh my god, they had it for the good portion of the map, even with a little bit of a blunder earlier in the map. It's really just the free misses back to back that really threw it over to the side of Ting. But at the same time, this is gonna put Ting into the forefront of the focuses, as they do have the luxury of the next pick to go for. So I wouldn't be surprised if they were to pick out something like Wildcard 3 afterwards, or maybe save it for later. Maybe go for one of the more technical maps. But at the same time, I would probably expect stuff like Tech 1 to be used like later, like as a last resort map, more or less, just from how a lot more abstract it is in principle.
Yeah, but we just have to see what Ting will be choosing. I'm thinking of right now his secret weapon, I guess, is, like I said, Walkout Tree, his protect, and also maybe the technical picks that he has up in order. As we see, flowerful can actually miss, so he can choose either the technical pick, like I said, yeah, technical 2, going into the 4th map. And this is really, really scary on flowerful side already, as even though we just started the tournament match. But since we know that flowerful is more prone to missing more, especially in terms of unconventional short long bursts and whatnot, this is gonna be putting a test to if they can hold out their consistency properly.
Yep. It definitely seems like flowerful basically saw this coming, because Tech 2 has definitely been a bit of a map that a variety of players have been choosing throughout the semi-finals. So definitely interesting to see it being thrown out. It is a bit of a wacky pick, but probably one of the safer ones in comparison to Tech 1 and Tech 3. Like, it is the shortest, but it's also a lot more dump-oriented. So kind of takes that of Tech 3, but it's a lot shorter as well. Just anime song, basically.
Yeah, true, but we just have to see if flowerful is able to hold on to their consistency properly enough on this technical pick, as Ting, in my opinion, has the slight upper edge, but we cannot really say for sure because, like I said earlier, a miss or two from either party can swing it all the way instantly to the other side. So let's jump into the 4th map of the matchup.
Exactly. Going into this intersection, this section is relatively tame. This is the intersection that I mapped for this collab alone. It doesn't seem like anyone has the advantage going into this intro. We do see a bit of a great from Ting, but at the same time, not really enough to be able to call it a certain direction, as it does seem like both players dropped their accuracy a bit under the 99.70% accuracy mark. So definitely a bit of an interesting start. We see the score still flickering with both players on the top, going to make that Dr. Mario pill on the top, will just go into the first chorus, where we will probably see some changes happening.
The beginning is not too big of a deal compared to the main chorus of this technical pick here. This is where everything will determine if they can hold out their combo properly enough and their accuracy or not. As we see, Ting is slowly climbing back up in terms of accuracy, and flowerful dropping a 200 earlier down to 99.50%. Accuracy lead of 0.2% to Ting's favor, as we have already finished the first chorus into the next chill section of the map already. Soon to be the second half as well.
Yeah, exactly. It does seem like Ting is very comfortable when it comes to this map alone, with how flow-oriented the map is. So definitely a good pick for them to make as well. But at the same time, even with flowerful's instability on some of these LNs going to be making a lot of early and late releases, not being able to keep it in the middle as much as Ting is here. It's still relatively close, only 2,000 points in the favor of Ting for the time being, as we are going to be going into Seimitsu's part here just before the final course, where we will probably have to see some shifts happening with how dense the pattern gets.
Yeah, not to mention flowerful finding another 200 before we enter the second chorus as well, which is putting a dent into that accuracy, albeit a little bit, but still a 200 count is a 200 count, especially since every single ratio, every single 200 count matters right now for flowerful. Accuracy lead is due to Ting momentum going back up to 99.70% soon as we enter the second chorus soon at the last quarter of the map.
Yeah, exactly. Going into this last course, this is basically the make or break moment for flowerful, but the miss comes out from Ting actually, so... But at the same time, the combo is there. We still have the full combo from the side of flowerful, so if we do see another blunder from the side of Ting, this could probably be it, but they still have about 1,000 points to burn through. But we're going into the ending of the map. There's only really a few patterns left and a little sliver of the difficulty left in the map before it's all gone. It's just changing the time signature, but at the same time, the instability of flowerful's death is basically what's going to be defining this point for Ting here.
Yeah, despite the miss from Ting, due to his accuracy being better compared to flowerful by a fair bit, the lead was not able to swing back to flowerful. It is a relatively clean miss as well. 200 count, significantly better compared to flowerful alongside with ratio. Flowerful is just not able to get a grasp on this kind of technical pick, in my opinion, in early enough.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, flowerful was able to give Ting a run for their money still. Just going up the fact that even though you didn't win the ratio battle, you still won off of the FC alone. It's just the overall accuracy on the side of Ting that basically put them into that advantage state. So right here, it's basically just going to be flowerful's pick next. So they're down by 2 points right now. There's quite a bunch of picks left to go, but at the same time, they are running out of the density maps. So as much as density 3 may be probably one of their safer picks, definitely safer than density 2 in my opinion, I feel like they're gonna have to start being forced into some of the other maps as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if they were to pick out density 3, but at the same time, they should try and maybe go for something like wildcard 4, probably, I feel like.
Yeah, in my opinion, density 3 is one option, wildcard 1 is also another option alongside with wildcard 4. I'm not too sure whether or not if flowerful can comprehend the coordination picks properly against Ting, as from what we're seeing on the more technical side, despite it being not a coordination kind of pick, he does have the better ratio advantages right now. So I'm not too sure if coordination is up into flowerful's alley right now, but we'll just have to see when it does get picked, sooner or later.
Turns out it's density free. Oh my goodness.
There we go. All the density map is out of the option now. There's no more density map for flowerful to pick anymore. He has to rely onto either the coordination pick, the last technical pick, or the remaining wildcard pick available in the map pool.
Yeah, exactly. This is definitely probably going to send some shivers down the spine of Ting, because they did play this back in Speed of Light 3, where this was used as the LN density pick back in finals or so. So definitely interested in throwing this out, and I do feel like it could be a pretty good map for flowerful, just going off the fact that it's basically just raw consistency from what you'd usually expect from the UE's map, albeit this one is the longest one out of all the other ones in the mix. This is about 4 minutes of length, just about. So I definitely feel like this is a really good pick for flowerful in general.
Yeah, not to mention this kind of density chart by UEast is pretty straightforward in terms of how it is mapped for the density section, as we are going to be seeing soon. This is how basically the map will look like most of the time. Straightforward 1/4 snap. It's just based on your physicality and are you able to comprehend the 1/4 release timing of this density chart properly.
Yeah, exactly. You do have a lot of these short LNs and a bunch of these broken up streams that you have in the mix as well, which is actually gonna be in the advantage of Ting for just a bit. Only a few hundred points in their favor, but at the same time, flowerful's doing a really good job being able to keep them in check. It's only really about 0.14% of a difference, but at the same time, the accuracy doesn't even matter. It's really just the ratio, or at least some of these misjudgments, probably, that make the lead ever so linear.
Yeah, but still, it is still the beginning of the chart. This chart is pretty hefty, long as well. So this kind of accuracy lead can easily be swing from one to another as we enter into the second quarter, into the first chorus section that is about to play. Once we have a slight chill section that we see into the first, well, I guess I could say the harder density section we'll be seeing. A longer and harder one. Oh, first drop in the chorus. Not even before the chorus, Ting finds the first drop, giving the slight accuracy, well, not in terms of accuracy, in terms of score lead to flowerful. Accuracy getting back up to about the same now.
Yeah, that's a pretty nasty drop for the side of Ting. This is going to be bringing about 1,000 points in the favor of flowerful here, but at the same time, the lead is close to none. It's only really about 1,000 points, but as long as flowerful maintains the FC like they have been doing up until this point, nearly 5,000 combo into the map, it's only just going into the halfway mark as well. This could definitely be a really good signal for them. It's only just the fact that the score lead is still really slim on their side. Only 1,000 points. Basically, at this state in the finals, doesn't really mean as much as, say, 5,000 points, where the longer the map is and the more notes that it has, the less that your misses really mean anything.
Yeah, despite the miss, the score lead is only barely about 1,000 points. What flowerful needs right now is increase the accuracy back up to at least stay at 99.78% or going back up to 99.80% to have a comfortable FC with a comfortable decent size of lead compared to Ting, whose accuracy is still better than flowerful as we enter into the last quarter. Score lead still difference by 1,000. Okay.
Yep.
Into the last chorus. Let's see if flowerful is able to hold onto the FC and their accuracy. Specifically, their accuracy right now is the key component to winning this pick that they have chosen. It's either hit or break, especially on this pick. If they concede any more points to Ting, it's gonna be 4-1. A very hard situation to come back on, so they really need this point right now to make it 3-2 at the very least.
Flowerful can really not miss here. There's only really about less than 20 seconds of the map remaining, and it's literally only decreasing just slightly as the lead is only just close to the sharpest point of 1,000 points here. But as we can see, it doesn't seem like we're going to be seeing a miss from flowerful going into that ending where you have the final few cores run down, and it's literally 917 points in their favor. The ratio insanely close as Ting Momentum has 911 perfects.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
The ratio difference is also not too big as well. We thought it would be bigger, but no, this is really, really close. What decided the point was specifically the miss. All right,
Yeah.
Pataraj, I get it. You love flowerful. You don't have to flex it, okay?
I mean, can you really blame him? Flowerful's literally amazing. Amazing.
True. Yeah, an amazing person from FR#NCH.
Oh my goodness. Literally one of France's shining stars here. Ting picks out Coordination 2. That is, as Sunny would say, the carbon dioxide pick.
Yeah, carbon dioxide pick, CO2, also Coordination 2. We have a banger song! Ai Kotoba 4th version featuring Hatsune Miku by Deco27. It's a really good song. Please listen to it.
I mean, we will listen to it in about a few seconds. It's just that I don't think you're gonna be able. I don't think the audience is gonna inherently be able to listen to the song as well, like, you know, with our voices over the thing. But who knows? Maybe as the experience.
Yeah, maybe you guys could go onto YouTube and listen to Deco's banger music that is coming out. But nonetheless, this is the first coordination pick we will be seeing of the matchup, being coordination 2. We will not be seeing coordination 1 and coordination 3 just yet, but maybe sooner or later. Now that Ting has chosen coordination, this is either a fight or flight for flowerful right now. This is the time to see if they have the ratio capability to back up this monster of Ting, who's better in terms of the wildcard and technical burst kind of maps. This is more of the slower side of long note, where it's mainly flowy. So we just have to see if flowerful can handle these kinds of flowy long note chart.
Yeah, exactly. This map is a little relatively straightforward. It does follow the formulae of being more coordination oriented, kind of similar to that of coordination 3, for example, except despite not being inherently...
Oh, already?
Oh my goodness. Okay, that is... Okay, that's a pretty bad miss to have at the very start, but at the same time, this map does kind of lean into tech a little more than usual, so I wouldn't be inherently surprised if Ting was to take some chokes of their own going into this map, I feel like.
Yeah, already an early miss right after the 400 combo as well. As we enter the 500 combo, flowerful miss at the very end, and we get a Patiraj. You're being biased, but come on, us commentator needs to be a non-biased, especially the streamer. But we're gonna be entering into the first chorus section very, very soon. The first key eye where flowerful really needs to step up their game properly. That miss is gonna be swinging the lead tremendously to Ting for a couple of moments here. We just have to see if Ting is able to hold onto the FC and accuracy to get this point.
Yeah, roughly 3,500 points in the advantage of Ting, as we could see so far. Going into this course, you have a lot of these LN bursts where you have to at least hit some of these graces and some of these short LN jacks as well to be able to ensure accuracy, in which we have been seeing Ting capitalize off this really well, especially with that one miss from flowerful, basically adding fuel to the fire, being able to push him into that advantage state.
Ooh,
But here
we
comes
go.
the miss!
Here we go! Multiple 200 drop as well after the miss. It's slowly swinging back to flowerful as we enter the second half. That's only the first chorus done, but still we have another chorus incoming. Ting momentum barely get up to the 400 combo mark. The score lead is literally to no one right now. It's literally anyone's game as we enter the second half of the map. One more chorus left, and it's an even longer and harder chorus than we've seen just now. Can flowerful hold onto the accuracy, get it back up? Can Ting momentum also do the same? We'll just have to see as we enter the second chorus soon.
Exactly. That one miss from Ting was a little rough, especially with the fact that it neutralizes the whole impact of flowerful's miss from the start of the map. So at the same time, basically reciprocating that of Ting going into that little calmer section back in category catch ball. This is basically going to put the lead into a very small thread where it's literally only a few hundred points in the advantage of one player before it just shows glimpses of life in the other, basically jumping through doors and jumping doorsteps, as we can see. So it definitely looks a little dangerous for both of these players, even with a small bias in the side of Ting, as we can see. It's really just another miss that can seal the deal here, right? And it's literally only going into the final 6 of the map, as we can see.
Yeah, it's really up to if flowerful can hold onto their accuracy and boost it back up just by a little bit while Ting drop their accuracy down. If not, I think this is going to Ting, but this is only a visual cue. Nothing's over until the map is over. Can flowerful find a match, a break point that is really, really needed, or will Ting hold onto the accuracy as we enter to the end of the map? And I think it's gonna be Ting barely holding onto their accuracy, taking the point. Please don't miss.
No. 819 points.
Oh my god. That's literally to neck and neck.
Oh my goodness. And it does seem like flowerful would have won at least by the greats, but at the same time, the misjudgments. Oh no.
It really came down to ratio gaming at the very end. Ting barely put it up.
Indeed. And I feel like here, with Ting being only 1 point away from a match point situation, flowerful is going to really need to try their best in one of the next picks afterwards, because they've run out of the density maps completely. So it's really just the pressure that is going to be here that you need to decide which map you can go for next that's at least closest to density, which I've said earlier on, Wildcard 4 could definitely be a bit of an option, even if it's not inherently like full density, as you know, the other 3 maps that had been played were a lot more density oriented. Because otherwise, every other map from here on is a lot more technical, and I really doubt that either player would even want to go into Coordination 1, for example, because it's self-explanatory.
Yeah. Wildcard 1, we have the Bell map, Heat Up Normal. Ooh, boy, this is gonna be a pretty close one as well, in my opinion.
Feeling abnormal right now.
Yeah, considering what we've seen up until this point as well.
Yeah, definitely makes sense that flowerful would pick this, but at the same time, I feel like they're picking this map out of only the pressure from running out of density maps. So I feel like this one is a little more tech oriented, and it's a lot more physical as well. So this is definitely a bit of a riskier choice in my opinion from the side of flowerful, but at the same time, like if you basically just specialize off of majority of the less technical maps in the entire pool, then to be fair, I would be stuck in the same position as well. Like, I would definitely feel stuck if I was in the same scenario here, but who knows? Maybe flowerful can definitely capitalize off of this one.
Yeah, we just have to see if they are actually able to play on this wildcard 1, since, not to mention, this is, in my opinion, very flowy and okay. Sure Paturaj.
Ekoro was already... I think everyone knows that Ekoro was French. What?
I think someone's confused. I think it's either flowerful or Ting being confused that, oh no, it was Hunter.
Oh.
Our ref is the confused one.
Insane. That's crazy.
But yeah, good luck, have fun to both players on wildcard 1. Will Ting get another point, securing their match point? Or will Flowerful be able to get this, securing that 3rd point and slowly catch back up to Ting?
Exactly. We have seen these types of situations in matches where we did have to see at least one of the players making a comeback, and especially with Flowerful being the underdog of this match here alone, being down by 2 points, especially to make it into that 6-point range, they gotta be able to ensure that they can at least win off of some of these maps, because all that's remaining is a lot more of these more tech-oriented maps, especially with this one being a lot more dump-oriented. Just overall, the play feels literally a mess of these patterns, but at the same time, just basically what various players I've seen have capitalized off of throughout the matches in the semifinals alone.
We just really have to see as we enter the first chorus sooner or later. Currently, Flowerful has the slight accuracy lead, but it's not by much. We still haven't entered the chorus part where it really mattered the most. This is just base normal dump kind of long that we see from the vocal dump. And here we go, the first chorus of the 2.
This is basically the section of the map where everything ramps up in terms of difficulty, especially with this one being a reuse from 4DM. The tournament you basically just used to like having a lot of these really unorthodox picks, especially towards the late game, where a lot of these maps are definitely stuff that you wouldn't really see as often in most conventional tournaments. So seeing this as a wildcard reuse and basically using that full version as well is definitely a bit of an interesting signal that really can be probably the death of some people in this tournament alone. But we do see that it seems like Flowerful actually has a bit of an advantage, but very unsafe one as well, going into that double-digit range.
Yeah, not to mention, this map was actually used back in 40M of last year, if I'm not wrong, or this year.
Yeah.
But it was
used.
Yeah, but it was used, and back then it was, well, the cut version, and it was nerfed by a lot from Imperial. This is the buff version and longer.
Patu, why did you put that on Ting's name? Oh my god. No.
Oh my god!
What? Right as I said it as well, dude. Bro, the Squiddy curse.
The Squiddy curse
curse
is real.
What have you done?
Our streamer, Our streamer's being biased. Oh no!
Dude!
Our streamer is being
Oh my
biased. Get this
God.
man in control.
Oh my god.
The lead
I
is now
missed.
back to Flowerful from Ting's major miss due to our streamer being biased and cursing Ting momentum.
Sometimes we just love to F around and find out, and this is exactly the
Oh my
pinnacle of this
God.
type of stuff as well within the matches alone.
Yeah, that's a clip for sure, man. Oh, that's a clip.
Bro, if only I could clip stuff during matches, but alas. Anyways,
Well,
final
we just
four
have to
in,
leave it
final
up.
four going into the map, and it does seem like Flowerful still has that lead of 2,000 points in their favor. But the miss comes out for them as well!
Oh, huge miss from Flowerful. Accuracy lead is basically tied up now. Lead swing back to Ting momentum, but it's not much as Flowerful is back into the 400 combo mark. Oh my god. This is very, very close. Can Flowerful hold on to the accuracy barely enough? Who is it gonna be? Just a little bit of map left.
Oh my god, it's flickering. It's showing signs of life on the side of Flowerful, but at the same time, it keeps going back on the Ting side, and we are already out of that difficulty in the entire map. It's still going to continue flickering, but a few minor misjudgments from the side of Flowerful might have spelt it for this pick alone. Going to be the lowest difference in the whole match. They're just getting 2 points.
Even with the curse from our streamer being biased, it's not enough.
Oh my goodness.
5-2 to Ting momentum.
Yep, here we go again.
Here we go again. Part 2. No. No. We are not doing that, Part 2.
Sorry, what happened? Huh?
Part 2 put it, wow, 6-7 ... at Ting's accuracy.
6-7.
Yep, here we go. The 6-7. Now it's Ting's pick. Oh my god, this is really, really, really scary for Flowerful right here. Not to mention, these guys, for some reason, is in the loser bracket. So whoever loses here is out of the tournament for good.
Exactly, and especially with Ting momentum being able to provide that pressure into the match itself, it's basically a really good situation for them, being able to have themselves in the forefront of the focus is probably at this point the most likely to win going into the match itself, as it does seem like Cool Nation Free gets the pick here, not going to be going for their protect by any means necessary. This is going to be the potential final map of the match itself, unless we see Flowerful pulling a bit of a reverse sweep, because they're going to need that to perform that to be able to force a tiebreaker here.
Yeah, Flowerful really needs to win the next 3 pick in a row to secure the tiebreaker and potentially win that. But this is really, really, really close. This is really tough for Flowerful's state. 5-2 in terms of Ting. He's on match point. Flowerful needs to win 3 more map and the tiebreaker to secure the win. This is a lot of pressure on Flowerful right now. Whether or not will they survive another round into the finals, or will they be leaving into the semifinals, as we jump right into Coordination 3 Snake Eyes by none other than Epsilon Mayagare.
Oh. What is going on here?
MP abort?
What? Abort? Abort?
Abort?
Please?
Abort, chat.
Abort? Oh my god.
Thank
Dude,
God.
I was about to lose it
before
at that. Oh my goodness gracious.
Thank God it was before 30 seconds, or else it would have been really, really bad.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my goodness. Alright. At least, at least we got the abort, so both these players can at least get a second start at the starting line. So yeah.
Yep, but we just have to wait for the abort to happen and see what happens.
Wait. Oh wait, the abort didn't actually happen? Wait, what?
Oh?
What? The
Ref?
song is still playing.
Ref. Okay, thank you.
Hunter. Oh, there we go.
There we go. Finally aborted.
Oh,
Let's see what the issue is. PC went kaboom.
bro, what?
That's one way to put it.
Yep. I mean, at least hopefully the PC can't go kaboom now, because this is probably gonna be the worst time for it to go kaboom either way. This is literally the final potential map of the whole match itself. So if anything disastrous on flowerful happens going into the Zen, this is probably gonna be taking them home. A free ticket away
Yeah.
to, I don't know, where they live.
Yeah, France.
Yeah, but I don't know where in France. That's the difference.
France.
Paris? Disneyland?
Sure. Disneyland, France. There we go.
There we go. Sure. Flowerful lives in Disneyland.
Yeah, flowerful lives in Disneyland. You heard it here, guys. How do I know? I live with them. Definitely.
I know. I was one of the FNAF animatronics back in Disneyland in at the night shift that Flowerful worked in. They had to pay attention to all 5,000 of the animatronics there.
Yeah, for some reason it was 5,000 and not 5. But anyway, abort was successful. Back into the map. Like I said earlier, let's see if Flowerful can get this point and pray that they do not miss.
Yeah, exactly. This is going to be one of the most important picks.
Oh my god.
Oh my god! Right as you said it as well. Oh my god.
Oops.
Oops. Oh my god.
Anyway, sorry about that. The lead swings to Ting Momentum right after the 400 combo mark as well for Flowerful, but still, it's a very, very early miss. Anything can still happen as we still have about just over 3/4 of the map left. So Ting can still miss and change the lead to Flowerful.
Yeah, exactly. It does seem like with that one miss from Flowerful at the start, this is going to be putting an advantage in the name of Ting, but at the same time, it's still relatively early in the map, so there's a lot of room for error for both these players to at least pave the way for, because one way or another is going to have to be down to Ting missing one way or another to be able to recover that.
And like I said, that Ting missed!
Exactly as I said it as well. That's going to be happening. It's going to put my dreams into a reality. Not dreams, but you get what I mean.
Yeah, dream to reality to curse on Squiddy. Let's go!
Oh my. Here we go again. The score's flickering. Red and blue.
Yeah, literally, right now, no one has the lead except Flowerful missed again.
No! Dude.
Big miss as well. Oh no.
Are you sure they're speaking English, or are they literally just speaking in cryptic to be able to just signify when to miss?
I don't know. Are they listening to the stream and purposely missing? Who knows? But anyway, score lead is back up to Ting Momentum due to that big miss from Flowerful. Back to about 3,000 point lead as we enter the second half. Yes, Patu Rush, you should probably stop typing and stop cursing both players. Thank you very much. But yes, 3,000 lead towards Ting Momentum now as we are entering the second half already. Flowerful really needs to pick back up on the accuracy and play that Ting Momentum finds another huge miss to swing the lead into a flicker.
Exactly. This is going to be one of the most important things that needs to happen for at least to secure some kind of potential victory for Flowerful, to at least sustain their position in the tournament for just a bit, because they've basically just run out of options. They want to be able to force tiebreaker, but with maps like this where all you have is just technical maps alone, this is literally the only option you have. All you need to do is just brute force it and at least get as best combo as you can, because there's still the potential for misses, and we've seen vulnerability coming out from both players on that matter alone. And even then, we see Ting with about 3,000 combo in their favor, and at the same time, there's still the room for misses going into the final quarter. It's just, I cannot be the one hoping for them anymore. Like,
yeah, us commentators are forced not to say anything, or else we'll probably get fired from cursing too much.
I mean, if only that was a thing. If I had a set every time I had to curse, then I'd probably be a billionaire at this point.
True, but as we enter the last map, I don't think that's gonna be a miss coming from taking momentum. He's still holding on to that strong accuracy, actually grinding back up the accuracy. If he holds out onto the FC, this will secure him his final point that he needs to win the match, and I think it does. 6-2 towards taking momentum. That miss at the end from flowerful secures the deal.
A very strong pick to win off of as well, and especially with the fact that both players have done what they could to fight each other, and flowerful was doing their best to challenge the likes of Ting with as much information as they had from his previous match. But unfortunately, Ting is going to be breaking that curse and the shackles of the semifinals conditionals and punching their ticket into the finals bracket against Muchi next week. And as unfortunately for flowerful, going to be knocked out of the tournament. This is their freeway ticket, their literal Uber to going back home, unfortunately for them, as much as they have put such a tremendous effort throughout this whole tournament alone. The potential was at the door.
Yeah, it was literally neck and neck in my opinion. Multiple times the score could have gone to either one of each player, but in the end, Ting erased into victory. And here we see is the bracket. So let's go into the bracket, shall we? As we look into the finals conditional. First of all, we'll be having on the winner's side, Nepigen versus Pavin. The seed 1 and seed 2 correspondingly. We just ignore what Nepigen did in qualifiers. That never happened. It's very close, guys. But that will be the only winner's final. Both players already securing top 3, but will they secure top 2 by winning the finals? We'll just have to see whichever one of them will win. Now, into the losers bracket, we will be having J-Line versus Konkawa, and like we said earlier, Muchi, aka Muka, versus Ting Momentum.
Yeah, definitely looks like a very strong lineup for the matches that we have remaining in the tournament as we go into that end game of the whole iteration itself. Definitely, I feel like Nepigen versus Pavin is definitely one of the most long-awaited matches that we probably had, wherever people want to see Nepigen finally taking a point off, because he's still literally not even lost anything. Like,
yeah,
they've
been sweeping, dude. Like,
yeah,
please,
exactly.
Can someone not be this good? Can they be banned? That would be really nice, you know.
I mean, someone's gotta, you know, be a janitor, you know? Like, you just gotta clean up the building, but that aside, but other than, you know, Muchi versus Ting, it does seem like J-Light and Konkawa is going to be a bit of an interesting match. I remember I faced them back in the Malaysian tournament last year, and they were both in the same team, so basically just closest to friendly fire, but at the same time, they're not from the same country, so, but still gonna be a cool match regardless of which.
Yeah, but before that happens, we will be having J-Light versus Konkawa, of course, and damn, if I do say honestly, I didn't expect J-Light to reach into finals even. I thought, because I know there was a lot more other stronger players like Riku, Anosius, Polka, but no. J-Light actually won against Polka, if I'm not wrong, which is insane.
Yep. That alone
that's something I didn't expect, if I do say so myself.
I mean, with this tournament, you can never really expect things to go the way that they're written because of how insane some of these players are, and especially with how well they fare into a bunch of these matches alone. And especially here, the majority of the matches that we have and the players that we have remaining, they're all basically mostly within the Asian and American time zones, basically. Ting is the final European player remaining in the tournament, and he wants to be able to rep his continent here. But how is it going to be going? We may as well tune in next week, as we still have one more stream waiting to happen in about half an hour, which is going to be your finals map pool showcase.
Yeah. Do look forward to the finals map pool showcase. I think it's gonna be interesting. I don't know the map pool, but Epic Man does, I think, because I'm not part of the map poolers team or a mapping team. But from how the tournament has been in terms of the quality, do tune in for the final showcase. as before we enter the Grand Final showcase in next week. That is it, pretty much from me, Adam McAville. I have nothing else more to say other than good luck to the last remaining 6 players in this tournament. Do you have anything else to say, Epic Man?
Let me put my thinking cap on. I need to think of something funny to say.
Something funny to say.
True. Okay, something funny to say. There you go. I've said it. I've said something funny to say. All right.
Yeah.
Have fun, everyone.
Yeah, goodbye, everybody. Do train your Uma Musume properly.
Please drink your water. I need to. I'm sick. Hey.
Goodbye, everybody.